We've had three very interesting presentations this afternoon, and I'm seeing some questions coming in now, wide-ranging. I mean, the situation with COVID-19 has been such an extraordinary upheaval for the rail sector that it's very difficult to know where we're going to go. So I'm going to start with a very sort of wide-ranging open question, which anybody can answer. I'll go to Rokas first, perhaps as the sort of frontline operator, but the other two, feel free to jump in. How long is this going to go on for, and will rail actually recover from it?
I think that's a very good question, and I read probably when I look at the scientists and researchers, very different opinions on that. And yeah, we see that probably this year, if we say 2020, we've been hit by -40, -50% in terms of the volumes, and I think people behaviors are changing as well. We see that working from home becomes norm, and we see that probably people are getting used to different mode of transport as well. So okay, bikes using their own cars and so on, just in terms of the safety. So I do believe there might be some structural changes, and when I say structural changes, I mean long-term changes. So it could take us, 4 and 5 years to get back to the levels which we were used to have, and I think that we might not even get back to those levels. But I would like to finish on a more optimistic, and I think we as railways need to be reinventing ourselves and looking into ways of find ways to attract customers to use railways as a mode of choice.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, yes, Sandra. Would you agree with that? When the rail needs to really sell itself, go out and attract the passengers back?
Completely, exactly. Yeah, I agree also with what Rokas just said, that it might be that we don't really reach the values that were happening before the pandemic. I think this is a new reality. When people ask how long do you think this will take, I answer, don't think like that. Don't think of how long it will take, but just embrace the new normality and try to do the best you can with what we have now. Because if we're just trying to go back to what it was before, we're just going to be disappointed. I think there was a big change in society now, and we probably are going to just see a very different future.
Yes, I've seen suggestions from various operators that we're going to see a rebalancing and less sharply peaked commuter demands morning and evening, and a more spreading out of traffic over the course of the day. Is that something you're seeing in the light rail sector, Martin?
Yeah, we certainly are seeing a change in where the peaks are. And certainly during the early days of COVID, there was a very different peak that we were seeing, because the times that some of the hospital workers were changing their shifts, it's different to the standard workers' peak. So you were finding there were different times of the day when you were actually seeing more people taking the tram. And I think as we move forward, to echo the other speakers' views on this, it does look like there will be changes. There are a number of city-based office worker. They've got used to working from home. There will be perhaps a couple of days a week when they prefer to go in the office because of the work that they do. But from a time when people were used to say, well, I could never work from home, they are now getting more used to that working from home, seeing that there are some benefits that come through from the working from home. And you then start to go, well, how do we reinvent ourselves? If there are going to be fewer people traveling, but we've still got the stock. I mean, certainly in the UK heavy rail, freight numbers are particularly high. They've recovered to around about 90%. And on the heavy rail, they're saying, well, actually, maybe we need to be looking more at moving freight and considering, rather than having a position where we would always push freight to one side to keep the passengers running, actually, there should be more focus on freight. And even in the light rail sector, people are starting to say, well, that when there are times where you've got trams running and they aren't as busy, but people are now ordering so much stuff by mail order, should we use part of the trams for using some parcel freight?
Mm-hmm.
So you can still use them, but it's repurposed.